Now, just let me confirm we are live and we will be good to go. All right, test one, two, three. Okay, coming through. Welcome to Discussions in Filmland episode 4 with special guest Big Bad Wolf. Tonight we are discussing 2005's Primitive War.
Don't you mean 2025?
2025's Primitive War.
I'm looking, I'm like, okay, something's off here.
Yeah, that'll be a good one for the blooper reel.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm sure Noobs will find a way to get you about that later.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, Anubis.
If you're watching this right now.
So, first question, John, when did you first find out about this story?
So I first found out about Primitive War, I think, during my college years. If it wasn't during my college year, yeah, it was. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago where this guy who usually does a lot of my kaiju drawing, I saw he was doing commissions for dinos from Primitive War. And I thought he was actually hired on to do some of the Primitive War stuff. I'm like, dude, look at you, you're literally moving up. And he goes like, oh no, this is a fan art commission from Primitive. I'm like, Primitive War, and he showed me. He goes like, yeah, it's a story about Vietnam soldiers going up against dinosaurs. I'm like, holy heck, have I not heard about this by now? And that was my start and introduction to Primitive War.
For me, it was sometime last year I was watching something about up-and-coming movies, and in it, they had mentioned there's a movie coming out set during the Vietnam War with dinosaurs. And I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. I looked it up, found out it was based on a comic book, and it just kind of sat in the back of my head till the trailer started coming out for the movie, and I thought it looked interesting. I researched the premise, and I'm like, you know, this looks like it might be something that feels like it's original for once.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a nice take on the dinosaur and genetic biological engineering genre. Plus, it's a timepiece because of the Vietnam War. That's like I think that's one of the more searched wars that people like to watch, especially for films. Just because jungle guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, it was a nice little blend of just not just the time period, but the concepts, and it turned out to not have a very bad cast either.
Oh no, it turns out the lady who played the Russian scientist, the Anubis actually knows her from a few other films that she's done, indie films.
That character, not to get too far ahead, but what I really liked about her was that even though she was working with the Americans because she knew this machine that was bringing the dinosaurs into our time. Hey, Maestro Megatron, how's it going? Even though she knew she was loyal to her side because she was Soviet, she knew this machine was too dangerous to be left on or intact, so she was willing to work with the American soldiers for the greater good, and it did lead to some good dynamics.
Oh yeah, definitely. It showed that she was very regretful about helping develop this because of all that transpired after it was developed and what happened when they tested it.
And also, it was a nice touch that she was addicted to opioids and she was battling that at the time too.
Yeah, as a way to kind of cope with the pain she's been feeling. That was a funny scene when I forget his character, but as the leader of the Fortress Squad, he walks through, like, here, this is how we cope the American way, and gives her a cigarette.
Baker.
Yeah, Baker. He goes, this is how we cope. This is how we cope the American way, and just has her smoking, and then also gives her a gun.
I'll say that too. I did love the dynamic between the American squad like they just felt like a natural combat unit.
Well, yeah, definitely. And the funny thing is, it's like the Vulture Squad is nothing but a bunch of rejects. Like from what I remember and understanding, they were in their past life they were all pretty much criminals, scoundrels.
In this film too, I did love like the opening scene because the whole premise of this movie, they're being set to look for this special forces squad, and in the beginning of that, it we see them get killed off by what were supposed to be Utah Raptors in the comic, but are uh,
Deinonychus.
Deinonychus in the movie, and presumably the one we see is the one that goes on to be Cyclops, the raptor with the combat knife in its eye, which that's just a striking visual. Hello, Jake Hall.
Yo, Jake.
Cyclops was he was basically a slasher villain in this movie.
Oh, definitely. Again, just like what you and I discussed early during the week, he needed more screen time.
Yeah, that was like one of the negatives. The film, I think it's like what, a little over halfway over before he finally shows up.
Yeah, it's like a little halfway over until Cyclops is finally born.
And like he just felt like such just a legit character, and he kind of put me in mind of the bird shark from Jaws 2, where it had this very distinguishing feature that made him stick out. And in this case, it was a marine combat knife jammed in his eye.
Yeah, interesting. He didn't try to claw it out with his claws.
Yeah, but a rule of cool, so I'm gonna stick with it. And I love what they did with the Deinonychus because they weren't very hard to take down, but the numbers were so great that it was just a constant threat because you can't kill all of them.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, especially if you've seen any documentaries, it's been theorized they were big time pack hunters. And not only that, but the Deinonychus and the family of dinosaurs they are a part of known as the dromaeosaurids were pretty much considered the smartest of the dinosaurs. Of all the family of dinosaurs, the dromaeosaurids were considered the smartest. And we could kind of see with how they communicated with each other, with how they set up tactics, and just how they went after the Marines and everything. You could just tell that these weren't just mindless creatures. These were predators.
Yeah, you know what? And I know you studied wildlife in college, but the way, especially they approach Cyclops, where he clearly held grudges, did it kind of make you think of a crow?
Maybe a crow. If not that, then definitely like an animal like a tiger, for instance, because tigers are an animal that's known to hold grudges.
Because I was watching something about crows, and like, not only are they known to hold grudges, but they're also known to like reward people they're friendly with. Because I seen a video where these people set up a bird feeder, and it was like they got a bunch of crows coming through the bird feeder, and the wife, she was out like taking photos one day, and her wedding ring came off and she thought she lost it. Well, the crows had been following her, and one of the crows actually picked the wedding ring up and flew it back to the bird feeder.
Well, another thing too with crows is you can make friends with them by just offering them like some kind of food to get them to you, and then afterwards that crow will be your best friend. Now,
That's
before anyone thinks of anything, no, crows are like cats. They're very self-sufficient. So even if you feed a crow, that crow's not going to be relying on you, but that crow's going to affiliate you with, hey, this person's friendly.
because they can do stuff like that and even be trained. This is a weird tangent to be getting on for primitive war, but it's also illegal in a lot of states to have a pet crow because they can be trained to steal.
Oh, of course.
It's just interesting to see how, like, not only how they theorized, but because raptors, they basically were birds more than we used to think lizards. So it's
Oh
in,
yeah, I mean, the more evidence that came out, the more we see these things had feathers, and they definitely do interact and communicate like birds.
and it's interesting to see like some of those mannerisms are still alive in modern birds today.
Yeah, I mean, look at how they walk. I mean, not only how the raptors walk, but look at how T-Rex walk. They walk in the same manner as a bird walks, because every time they take a step, their feet aren't just flat in the air. Their feet go like this. Like
And,
their feet are always pointed, like always down, like how a bird's feet always takes a step.
and it's speaking another great character in this movie right here.
Oh yeah, definitely the father Rex, but I think wasn't it in the comics? Wasn't he deemed Kronos?
I haven't read the comics, so I'm not sure. I want to. This has me wanting to read the comic.
Oh yeah, I love that T Rex. I love the design and that it helped. It's like it was their way of doing sexual dimorphism between the Rexes, even though in reality there wasn't such sexual dimorphism when it came to that.
And like I do think it was like a cool touch too, because now like when Jurassic Park first came out and when the book was written, it was theorized the Rex can run over 30 miles an hour. Now the prevailing theory is they couldn't run that fast at all.
They could only power walk about 12 miles an hour.
And we see our characters not easily, should I say, comfortably outrunning them, but manageably outrunning the Rex.
Yeah,
In a
I thought that was a great touch, and that showed they really did their homework because you could easily outrun a Rex. Heck, you could probably outrun them just by walking because they were too big and lumbering to run. Plus, it stayed like if a Rex were to run and it fall down, it would die.
Now, I will say, like, talking about this film, like, we had talked about it. Hello, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Like, one of my nitpicks. Now that's good as long as you're here. But like one of
How
my
dare you?
we did talk about like both of us agreed that while this film had problems, some of them were minor gripes more than anything.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can name a couple of times where the film lagged. Like there was just a couple of times where the film. I'm not sure if you experienced it, but I experienced like the film's frame rate dropping a couple of times. Like there was
Also,
just times where it would just freeze.
yeah, that was a great part in the movie. And
Agreed.
also it did have some pacing issues. Like I feel like they could have cut anywhere from 5 to maybe even 15 minutes off this movie and it would have been better because it was just too long.
Oh yeah, definitely. There were times I was like found myself pausing throughout the film. I'm just like, oh my gosh, is this ever going to end? But it's not because I hate it. Don't get me wrong, people. I did not hate the film one bit. It was just I was shocked by an indie film being this long.
Yes, he does.
Oh yeah, he definitely did. And I think part of it was the spikes they put on him and this pseudo mane with fine feathers.
And
Which is a nice touch too, because it's they like Rexes when they started out, which you'll see in a picture or if you watch the film, the hatchlings had feathers, and it's been theorized that when a Rex was born, they would have feathers on them. But as they got older, the feathers would fall off.
and that makes sense from a defense standpoint because the young Rexes would be not the most capable of defending themselves.
No.
The feathers would help them camouflage, where when you're the full grown Rex, you're now the alpha predator and you don't need to camouflage.
No, not really. You just gotta be quiet enough, in which luckily they had padded feet, which allowed them to walk silently through their environment.
And also, did you notice like some of the like sometimes like the CG quality varies in the film?
Sometimes, yeah, like there was a moment, that moment they were trapped in the cave. It was like when they finally the team actually split up.
Yeah.
Like there was that moment where they had the flare, the fight against the raptors, and they're running through the cave. I noticed the CGI and just the effects just looked like something from the late '90s, early 2000s CGI.
And also another, and again, if by any chance anyone involved in making the film is watching this, like, we love the film. These are just other gripes, and you guys did do a great job regardless. But
Yeah, you guys did a splendid job overall. The budget you were given. I mean, the CGI for the dinosaurs overall was pretty good, especially for a film with a low budget like yours.
But like another like little moment I noticed was when they first came across the sleeping male T-Rex, and there were those bones from a.
No, I think that was the female because they encountered the male
Yeah,
afterwards.
that's right. But the bones on the T-Rex did look a little wonky too.
See, that I didn't really notice that much. But I did replay it a lot. I did replay that moment a lot because I kept missing that moment where it was a T Rex. So I'm like, gotta go back. I was like, holy crap, they actually counted the T Rex.
Yeah, but yeah, it was really impressive, like how much character they put into some of these dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah, the dinosaurs really felt like their own characters. I mean, I will say, I think the ones that stole the show were by far the Rex couple.
Well,
They
again,
stole the show, in my opinion.
and going back to Cyclops, I got more character out of Cyclops than I did out of the Indoraptor from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Oh yeah, Cyclops literally made it his mission to go after everyone, especially after Key stabbed him in the eye. He literally made it out to that he was going to try to kill every single Marine, which that was another gripe of mine. I felt like there should have been more Marines being killed off as the film progressed. Because it seems like once they got near the end of the film, that's when everyone just started dying left and right. When I feel like systematically they should have been trying to have each of them die through some causes left and right.
Now, speaking of that, the way they used the Deinonychus in this, did it kind of make you think of Aliens?
A little bit, because at one point, especially in the end, like this scene right here, like right here, it made them seem like a hive. Because it was like as soon as the explosions happened, they all were trying to escape. Here, the Deinonychus were just like surrounding the facility, getting ready to go in after our characters. And then the other one, they went back to the secret hideout. They were trying to help patch up Keyes' wounds, in which all I can say is there was no helping Keyes. He was going to die either way. But we do see like this entire horde of Deinonychus came in and were just trying to get in tooth and nail through every way possible. Especially that one moment where they closed down a door and they were reaching under the door trying to get in.
And also, I asked that because with Aliens, you always hear the question: is it a horror movie or is it an action movie? And I personally describe it as something I like to call combat horror. And I would also comfortably put this film in the category of combat horror.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't get jump scared, but I know like people who aren't used to horror, there were many moments, especially that sequence where they're up against Deinonychus, where they would have gotten a major jump scare.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the one with the one popped through the window out of nowhere. And then the other one when it was attacking the window above them.
I do admit it was paced well enough because you get the intro scene, then you get introduced to the characters, and then when they get deployed, it's a little bit of a build-up before they reveal the dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when we get introduced to our Russians who are being guided by a Vietnamese woman. In which I'm guessing she's like their prisoner. Because there was one point to where their commander dies, and they're like, if you did anything to him, we're going to kill you. And she's like, I did nothing.
Yeah,
So I think she was being held captive against her will.
I don't know if she was a prisoner per se, but I do think as far as during that time, whenever Soviets were actual Russian Soviets were in Vietnam, they did have that air of superiority to the North Vietnamese.
Yeah, and I think they used that to their advantage, and like how some soldiers captain went, "Hey, you're gonna help us, or we will just shoot you or kill anyone you care about."
I will say with that character you mentioned, the one thing that disappointed me with her character is I thought they were setting something up because as you find out about this particle collider, and that's what's bringing the dinosaurs into our time, well, the Vietnam time period, and they have to go destroy it. There's a scene with her in the scientist is like, this is going to win the war for your people. And she's like, all you did was turn my people into food for demons or something like that. And when she said that, I thought there was going to be a moment where when the Americans showed up, she was going to help them destroy it to protect her people. But no, she just tried to kill them.
Nope, because you find out one of the soldiers were part of the platoon that killed her village and her family. But you also see that particular soldier flashback it when he kept saying, "Please God forgive me."
Yeah, what it's another thing I like that like it didn't pull any punches and romanticize the Vietnam War. It showed that like our soldiers, yeah, they had to do things that haunted them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, they. I would say this: the developers had a lot of balls to do this because it showed like the dark side of the Vietnam War, but it helped show our soldiers' perspective as they were left in no choice. They had to do what they had to do.
Yeah, another question. What did you think of the soundtrack for the movie?
I would say the soundtrack I didn't notice that much. I would say I'm not sure what your opinion, but I would just say I don't remember much of the soundtrack, so I would say it was pretty forgettable.
I mean, like the songs they used.
Oh, it just made me think of Kong Skull Island.
Like,
It literally gave me Kong Skull Island vibes.
I love John Fogerty and Credence.
Oh yeah, I mean, I
So
heard
there
every.
was a
Oh,
great touch.
yeah, I heard as soon as I heard Creedence Clearwater Revival, especially that first scene to when both the commander and the guy with him are trying to go one way, and then the rest of the platoon try going another way, try to find each other. You hear run through the jungle. All I could think of was Kong Skull Island.
So like here was another great part in the film.
Oh yeah, the visceral horror part.
Yeah, like this film, the gore wasn't as like overblown as people make it out to be, but there's a moment here with the Quetzalcoatl. The Russians see them first; they get into a firefight with the Americans, and they start shooting at them. One of them rips one of the Soviet soldiers' stomach open, and we see it eating his intestines, and that is a scene that just like makes you cringe.
Yeah, it kind of makes it would make someone who's not used to it very much cringe because that thing literally, it doesn't even slurp it up with like spaghetti. It literally tastes it literally grabs it with its tongue, like what some parrots do when they crack open a nut. Because I'm not sure if the Quetzalcoatl will happen, but some parrots have like a what they like to call an extra finger in their tongue to like it's like two black bulbs that split apart, and they use that to grab nuts as they crack them open and crack them apart with their beak.
And again, it was another like very great touch in this movie. How again they felt like real animals.
Yeah, they didn't make them out to be these monsters. They have them acting like how an animal would act, especially one that would be a predator like that.
I do got to ask another question with the T Rex. How did you feel about the roar in this film? Because while I appreciated what we believe is now a more scientifically accurate roar, it just felt kind of underwhelming on screen.
I will say this: if it was a scientifically accurate roar, we wouldn't be hearing a roar. It would just be rumbles
I just
because it's been theorized that the Rex would have had closed mouth vocalization.
I feel like the roar at least, and I'm glad they didn't try to copy the Jurassic Park iconic.
Oh yeah, I can appreciate. Oh yeah, I appreciate they try to go their own route with it and do their own thing. I will say I think they were trying to make the Rex sound more horrifying than badass, and I do enjoy when developers go that route.
I just feel it needed to be like a little more punchy or bassy.
Yeah, I would say so. Or they want to go more scientifically accurate. But the issue is everyone loves a good T-Rex roar.
And speaking of, there was a moment your buddy was on set.
Who photoshopped him?
He did. I know how much you love Steve, so I had to put him in here.
Mama T-Rex, they're right. The T-Rex brain really is the size of a walnut. You didn't even think to eat him.
That would have made the movie for you.
Oh yeah, that would have been 10 out of 10. Just chomp Steve in half.
I was like, I did love how they used the Spinosaur in this film too.
Oh yeah, that one, even though we knew he was going to be in there, I forgot he was supposed to be in there, so it was a very neat surprise to see two Spinosaurs attack that tugboat.
And also, if this film does have one good or even great jump scare, I would say it's the Spinosaurus scene.
Oh yeah, that scene whenever she's trying to get the morphine out of his shoulders, like, hey, get out of my bag, and then to throw that in there, she's getting mad. As soon as they throw it in, that Spinosaurus just comes out of nowhere and gives her a heart attack.
I could imagine how good that scene had to have been on the green screen. I mean, on the big screen.
Oh, that would have been great to see an entire audience reaction to that.
It felt very alligator or crocodile like.
Well, either way, they were they very much behaved like a crocodilian.
Yeah, because that's exactly what one of them would have done. It would have waited for something to lean over the water and jump out like that.
Yep. It would have waited till it got close enough to the water and then grabbed him. Though it's been said Spinosaurus would have went for fish.
And also, this was kind of a nice moment too, because it was like the one moment in the film before the Spinosaurus where you kind of get to experience the magic of seeing these animals.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely a major plus, especially that scene right there, because it literally shows how similar they are to today's animals.
Now, Kevin, who had compared this to going into the same minds. Oh, have a good one, gentlemen. And if you're rating this, I give the film an 8.5 out of 10. That's a respectable score.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's something I could agree with.
I was going to say how Kevin Lambert had mentioned go into this with the same mentality as you would if you're watching Jurassic Park 3. I do feel like this scene almost kind of recaptured that one of the few great moments from Jurassic Park 3 when they're...
Oh yeah, whenever they're flowing down the river in the boat and you get to see all these dinosaurs just interact with their environment.
Yeah, it was just that one moment where you just get to enjoy seeing the animals be animals.
Oh yeah.
The horror of them. But like...
Which reminds me, there's another really funny scene, and that's that one scene to where we see our soldiers hiding from the T-Rex, and then there's another scene where we see them running away from a Triceratops. And that Triceratops is running after them like a buffalo going after a tourist, and I just thought it was so funny.
Yeah, like I said, they really truly did, like, even if the CG was hit or miss at times, it's impressive how realistic they made these animals feel in it. Even though there are some good monstrous moments, especially with the Deinonychus and Cyclops, they still always felt like animals.
Yeah, they just felt like animals just trying to survive.
Because, like, if even like you mentioned tigers, if you were to injure a tiger, that tiger would have a vendetta for you the rest of its life, and it would be acting very similar to Cyclops.
I mean, it's actually happened one time to a poacher by the name of Vladimir Farkov.
And didn't that tiger go on to like kill lots of people?
Well, what happened was he injured the tiger because he stole some of its kill because he was starving, so he took some of the kill of a boar that tiger made. The tiger got mad because that was his kill. He shot and injured the tiger, and he went back home. And so that tiger followed his scent and tracked down where he lived. So it was slowly, I think, day by day, was systematically destroying everything with his scent on it, even going inside the house, destroying everything with his scent on it, killing his dogs, waited for him to come home, and then just killed him and ate him. But yeah, the tiger, I think, killed 2 or 3 more people and then was shot down.
And since we're mentioning it too, what about the scene where the two Rexes were united?
Oh, that was a solid scene right there. The soundtrack helped really capture the feeling of that moment, I will say.
Even though like you know they're a threat and you're supposed to be scared of them, you're also like happy for them.
Because it made it up because it based it off of the theory that Rexes would actually mate for life, which is what birds do. Because the entire film, that the male on the left was literally searching for the female in their hatchlings. Because constantly throughout the film, there'll be times where you hear him roar, and the lady be like, "He's just looking for his mate."
Also, what did you think of the whole concept with the particle collider being what's bringing the dinosaurs into our world?
It was I would say it was interesting and a new take on the resurrection of dinosaurs.
And it did like create a nice extra layer of challenge for our heroes because you can't just call in an airstrike because there's no guarantee where these bombs
Yeah, because
land.
she explained if we were to drop down missiles, they could be transported to another side of the world and kill thousands of people.
It was like also like a nice touch too with the that Soviet scientist and the Americans that like both sides agreed no one can ever get their hands on this thing again, even our own people.
Yeah, because the colonel was like getting pissed off at Baker, and he was like, "No, I want this thing intact." And he's like, "No, we're destroying it." And he wanted to bomb the heck out of it. He's like, "Colonel, we can't bomb it."
Feel like it's too dangerous to be left intact. I'll say it why it didn't feel as original as I was hoping it was going to be. It still felt fresh.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than an entire lab being destroyed because of one Snickers bar.
Uh, I agree with this here. My final take on the movie, it's simple, dumb, fun, but average.
That's pretty fair.
Yeah, it's like say it's nothing spectacular, but
It's just a comic book film.
in its I do admit it is more impressive that we see something like this that finally looks like it has passion put into it by an independent film. But unfortunately, the double-edged sword of independent films, it's harder for them to get out there because me and you, we were both going to see this at
Yeah, I
our
was looking forward to this in my hometown, and or if not that, I would have drove over to Springfield just to watch it.
yeah, but like our local theaters didn't get this, so we had to postpone it, and they're still trying to work out the kinks for a Blu-ray release. But I hope they hurry up and do that soon because I'd love to have this on my shelf where I could just throw it in and watch it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, this film is a great I'd say it could be between. I would say a fair rating would be around 7 to 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd probably go from like 7.5 to 8 out of 10 around there. And Jake said he'd give it a 8.5. So it does seem like a good consensus for this film. It's
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's a good film it's a let's put it like this. It's a great popcorn film. Unlike Wonder Woman 84.
and also this film, it doesn't try to like hammer any like Kevin 7 out of 10. Still like very much within that
Yeah,
same.
it's still fair. It's reasonable.
And it was also nice because like how a lot of movies now try to shoehorn some kind of social message in, the fact that, as Kevin says, it's simple fun, but it's dumb fun. It's refreshing to see a movie that's not afraid to be that for once.
Yeah, we could tell like the producers took a lot of literally had a lot of balls and courage to do what they did with this film. They didn't hold back on the gore. They gave us a good story based on the graphic novels. I could understand, I think they were trying to combine all graphic novels and take the highlight points from each graphic novel and put them into one big film. And I can understand that because I think it's because they're probably like, we don't know how this is going to do, so let's just make it to all one big film. That way, people can have a good primitive war film.
Yeah, like if this was like a studio film, I could see it now because it was a 4-issue comic book.
Yeah, it was like 4 issues. It was 4 issues, maybe 5, technically 6, because there was that one book that came out with that was like a omnibus.
I could see it if this was a studio film. Not only would there be a 2-movie plan where they did half the story in the first movie, that probably would have flopped and we never would have gotten the second half, but they would have been planning a full cinematic universe before the horse even gets out of the gate.
Pretty much. They would have been trying so. I feel like if they wanted to do an entire series from beginning to end, I will say this, and maybe some people would disagree with me. This film probably could have been made into an anime series based
Yeah.
on each part of the graphic novel, and probably would have done a lot better.
Oh, this is a nice thought since you meant. Imagine this as an anime series, but with the animation style of Berserk 97.
Oh, that or Castlevania.
Yeah. Here, like again, good point from Kev. I respect them for trying to deliver something different.
Oh yeah, this was really different. It wasn't like your average biogenetic engineering dinosaur movie.
What it That alone was refreshing, not to see dinosaurs because of genetic engineering yet again.
Nope, it was just a highly advanced scientific machine that was built to warp into different places, but instead actually warp dinosaurs from the past to the present.
I also can't help but wonder, have you ever played the game Dino Crisis?
No, but I have played Turok.
Okay, like the premise of Dino Crisis, it was came out during the height of Resident Evil on the PS1, and you're part of an elite military team going to this island with classified research. And there was some kind of machine they were working on, and that machine opened up holes in time, releasing dinosaurs into our world.
Interesting. I never knew the Prim Evil animated. No, I think he's talking about the primitive. I think he's talking about the primitive anime series that has the caveman that befriends a T Rex.
Primeval animated series.
I think he's talking about. I can look this up too.
Oh yeah, I think he did mean Primal because that's what I'm
Yeah,
getting.
Primal. That's what I'm talking about. Primal.
Yeah, this would have been like another great like animation style for a Primitive War animated series.
Yeah, it definitely would have. I feel like if they would have done it based off of each graphic novel, oh, I feel like this would have got they because they would have had more time to do what they wanted to do with it and actually take their time with the story.
Another thing I like, while this film doesn't have a true post-credit scene, which fine by me, not every film needs one. I like that you've seen clips in the credits that show how these events are going to affect history.
It was kind of like the ending of Godzilla King of the Monsters, where it shows how humans are doing with Titans being roaming with Titans roaming around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like it showed like how everyone's getting on with their day-to-day lives and just living with these new monstrous beings just living.
Yeah, it was like really well, and it wasn't too flushed out, which it didn't need to be, and it made this feel more like a living world. Like once the movie ends, you feel like this world is still going on.
Oh yeah, definitely. It doesn't feel like, oh, the dinosaurs are dying out. Which you would think that's what would happen as soon as the particle generator got destroyed. Nope, it showed they were still living their life. In which the highlight of the ending was watching the two Rexes and the remaining hatchling walking by walking by, showing that hey, they survived. And so
And
that literally showed like a new beginning of things, which was a great touch.
you know, like, it's a whole new world in Vietnam now.
Yep.
And like also I did feel like too, since we're bringing up the Vietnam War, while this took a very fanciful, just science fiction up twist on the Vietnam War, I felt like it was still very respectful to the actual history.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because we see how they had to have the soldiers act and everything.
And like again, like the entire squad, they had great chemistry together. Like I love this scene, in the one scene where the guy's like with the guy, do you want the magazine or do you want the candy bar?
Oh yeah, that was Keys because he came in going, I come with gifts."
And like I know stuff like that did happen on the Vietnam War, where like they would trade or be like, I got this or this, which one do you want? Like I've talked with Vietnam veterans, and like that kind of stuff really did happen.
And not only that, but did you notice they only drank beer?
Yeah.
That's actually something that happened because when I was in high school, whenever we would talk about the Vietnam War in history class, the teacher would have an assembly where we had two Vietnam War vets, one that was a part of the school board, and one that was just I guess he just lived somewhere. I forget where, but they would have them talk about. So they would just have them talk about their experience with the Vietnam War. So this guy that had come in was actually a Spec Ops veteran from the Vietnam War. He was a Green Beret, and he stated like when you got there, the first thing you were handed was a beer because the water filters up there were so bad you couldn't drink the water, so you could only drink beer.
Yeah, when I was in middle school, we had, it was like a multiple part event. First, well, the second part we got to go to the New Jersey Vietnam Memorial, and we also had like some veterans come and talk to the school. But when we went to the memorial, there was like this like setup of miniatures that showed what a typical like US encampment would be like. And there was like a miniature of like a little soda cooler there. And he's like, yeah, we actually had one of those, but we didn't keep soda in it. We kept beer because clean water wasn't always that reliable.
Yeah, back in those, especially in Vietnam with what it was back then, clean water wasn't really that much of a thing.
And not just that's that it's not clean water, it's one of those things. And this is another weird tangent to be getting on for discussing primitive war, but like the water might be safe for people that are indigenous to drink, but for those of us that aren't indigenous, it wouldn't be that good. Like even if you were to travel to say Japan, even though they have modern filtration, as an American, you still don't necessarily want to drink the tap water because they don't filter their water in the same way they do. While it's still safe, there are just things in the water that we wouldn't be used to.
Of course.
But yeah, that was a I didn't even think about that, but that too, it was a little nice point of just attention to detail they played in the movie. So it's final thoughts. We gave the rating, but again, I'd go maybe a 7.5 to 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I go around an 8 or 8.5 out of 10. It's a solid film, but it has its issues. But overall, it's a good film for just sit back and watch and eat popcorn. It's a great popcorn film. I'll say that.
I'll say at the very least, if you haven't seen this and you're on the fence, I don't think you'll feel like you wasted your time seeing it.
Oh yeah, I'll recommend this. You will not have wasted your time at all to watch this film. It's a fun film to just sit back and relax and just forget about the bullcrap that's going on in this world.
So before we close, you had mentioned like a story you're working on. You want to talk about a little of that?
I will do a little bit on that. So I'm thinking about writing a werewolf novella, in which I have my own werewolf design. I have decided they will be called Vargs, which comes from Germanic and Old Norse culture, which pretty much back in those days, if you were considered a Varg, you could pretty much be killed without any penalty. Because you were pretty much considered a wolf in a person's body. You were an outlaw, a criminal. It's no different than branding a woman back during the Puritan days a witch, in which any woman branded a witch back in Puritan days were burned at the stake immediately without probable cause.
That sounds like a great concept.
And that's just how I'm coming up with the name, because I want to go away from just calling werewolf and lichen.
Yeah, the two names are kind of played out at this point.
So I just want to come up with something else. I'm like, okay, I'll go with Vargos out of that, or Farkolak, which is an actual term. But funny enough, as I stated to you earlier, it's a song by Powerwolf, an alternate metal band.
I do think like Barg does roll off the tongue a little better.
Yeah, Farkolak just isn't as catchy as Varg. But other than that, Anubis, so our good friends Anubis, Orphan, and Alzilla and I will be getting together next week to play the new PC game Deathground, a survival horror co-op where you and your friends are in an abandoned research facility and you have to escape. But as you're escaping, you're trying to collect evidence. But as you're collecting evidence, there's dinosaurs hunting you. And it's called Deathground, and it recently came out this week on Early Access.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. Anubis, I just came up with the day. Just hope Orphan and Alzilla can join us. And I will be making content off of that. Along with, I just recorded some seamless co-op gameplay of Dark Souls 3, which I'll see if I can make any content off of that from the recording. If not, then I have to wait till next week to play Deathground, which I am very, very excited for.
We really need to link up and like work on doing one of those with a Space Marine too.
Yeah, I know we keep brainstorming that with you, Matt, and I. We just need to just get a day and a time down and just frigging do it.
Yeah. And that's what you got coming up in the future?
Pretty much.
As for me, I still got my Montober stuff coming tomorrow. Hopefully, the both of us will be on the entertainment headquarters discussing the Howling franchise.
Oh yeah, I plan to be on tomorrow. I'm going to try to watch as many of the films as I can tonight and then tomorrow, so that way when I go on our good buddy Kevin Lambert, aka Mr. Kaiju Goodness himself, I'll be able to fully discuss my opinions on the franchise.
I was gonna say, buckle up for some of those movies. Some of them you're in for a ride.
Yeah, I have a feeling some of them I'm gonna feel like I'm on acid, or that I would probably be better off doing acid.
Wait till you see the one with the weird marsupials.
I heard about the were marsupials, and I'm like, what the flippin' heck? This is supposed to be werewolves.
I will say that one, it does at least do one interesting thing where it tries to explore the good and evil in the werewolves, but it just wasn't executed really well. But
It was like one of those look great on paper, look great on paper, but was poorly executed.
join us on the entertainment headquarters tomorrow to see us discuss the Howling films and process our poor life choices in watching some of these movies.
Yep, and like anything, Rec 3 is the best.
So, thank you guys for watching. John, thank you for joining. And
thank you for letting me to come on with you. This was a treat.
Yeah, no problem. I'll definitely have you on again. I'm not ending these discussions in Filmland anytime soon.
Oh no, we should never end these.
As much as I love my pre-edited content, I also really do like these just roundtable discussions. It just brings its own thing, especially when you're bouncing back and forth with one or more people discussing the film.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always nice to hear everyone's thoughts and just everyone's point of view. And through everyone, you learn something different and something new, and something that makes you go back and look into further research. You're like, oh, hey, they point something out I wasn't aware of.
But anyway, for those watching now or after the fact, shout outs Maestro Megatron, Jake Hall, Kevin Lambert. Thank you guys for joining. Those watching after the fact, thank you. And don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Over and out.
Boom.